So as I'm listening to a couple audiobooks about the 30 Years' War, one thing that I noticed that's interesting, so much of the reason why the war was so bloody, as far as I could tell, is that it seems like there are so many factions within the war. Spain, you've got the Scottish and Irish mercenaries, you've got the Dutch, you've got the Crown, you've got the Emperor, you've got Saxony, all of these guys, these players. The people within each of those parties, they're cynically using Christian theology as basically an ideological means to enforce purity within a certain group. And if somebody is not actually pure enough, right, you're going to get defenestrated, you're going to get killed, right, you're going to become an easy scapegoat. And I should know the general's name of this because I'm bringing it up. This happened, I think, 1635. One of the generals associated with the empire, he was the one that was considered the last of the something Heim. He was like the last of the great mercenary captains, is how history has basically remembered him. Anyways, he was made into a scapegoat. And the rationale was that he was not pure enough ideologically. And part of the reason why the war was so bloody is every faction at the beginning of the war thought that all the other factions were weak, so that they could basically walk in and mop up, which just wasn't true, right? It was there was parity, much more so, but because they used this ideological purity test as a means, as a justification for the war, even though they themselves didn't necessarily believe in all this stuff. They're politically motivated, right? They want political power. They want economic power. They use this purity test basically, and they go in, and when they actually run up against a wall, because it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, right? They can't just back down, because everybody around them, whether that be below them, adjacent to them, maybe even above them, they're playing by the same game. Right? They're basically saying, hey, if you decide to recant on this, we're going to say you're not pure enough, therefore you will be the scapegoat for why things are failing. Right? And so either you have to be 100% all in into the meat grinder, or you yourself will simply become a victim of the meat grinder and the system is just going to continue. That's the danger if you are in political power and you're trying to use ideological means. You see this with wokeism now, and you can see this with the far right on Trumpism, but it's not nearly as, I think, as prevalent as it is with wokeism. But, if you're going to actually invoke these kinds of totalitarian ideologies, right? If you're going to invoke these differences theologically, because I feel like wokeism and Trumpism, they're burgeoning, or they're at some point they could become actual religions with an actual metaphysical framework, right? They have that potential. If that is the case, right, and you're dealing with a religious war, you're going to run into the same problem, and that's across all religious wars, right? If you're a crusader, you can't just be like, oh shit, well, you know what, we lost a lot of guys, maybe we go back. If you're a jihadi, you can't be like, oh man, you know what, this war actually wasn't that good. Let's be pragmatic about this, and let's maybe cut our losses. No. The jihadi behind you will push you to the front, or he'll kill you himself. Likewise, if you're a crusader. Likewise, if you're in the 30 Years' War and you represent the Catholics. Likewise, if you're a Protestant. It's the same thing. It's any time that a political power goes to war based upon ideological or religious reasons, it is far more dangerous for that power than I think that they realize. It's just not good. If you're going to be in power politically, it's much better to go to war for pragmatic reasons, because then you can actually make pragmatic decisions that don't necessarily get you killed or automatically destroyed or excommunicated or whatever, right? Just something I noticed.